Hi everyone, I'm Antonella Velasco, co-president of AMA FIU, and welcome back to Mic'd by FIU. Today I'm joined by Maria Melandri, a music industry professional whose career spans between business operations, artist management, product strategy, and music partnerships, with a background in business administration in Trinity International University and paralegal studies at University of Miami. Maria has built a career that blends structure, strategy, and creativity within the music space, right here in Miami, one of the most exciting music hubs in the country. Today we'll talk about how she built her foundation in the industry, what relationship building really looks like behind the scenes, and what marketing students can learn about leadership, networking, and building long-term relationships in music. Maria, we're so happy you're here.
Hi, thank you. I'm super happy to be here. Thank you. That was a long introduction. So thank you.
You deserve it.
Thank you.
Well, as we talked about right now, so you studied business administration in Trinity International University, and then afterwards you completed your paralegal certificate at UM. How did that combination between business and legal studies shape your foundation in the music industry?
Okay, so it was actually backwards. So I did a paralegal certificate before at UM. And I was actually speaking to somebody about it right now because at the beginning of at the beginning, like in my early 20s, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know that music was going to be the career path for me. But my mom always said, you should go to law school, be an attorney, just do that. So, and I want to be as straightforward as I can be. So, because you guys are young, and sometimes you listen to others instead of listening to your heart and to what you feel inclined to and to your passions. And anyway, so I went and I did that. And of course it gave me skills and going to school. And then I went to Trinity for business administration, and it helped. I mean, obviously school gives you structure, school gives you discipline, school gives you have to get here at this time and leave at this time. You have assignments, and it gives you that structure that you need as a human being. And that's what I gathered the most out of it. But I'm going to be completely honest with you. For the music industry, it didn't do much. Okay. It didn't do much. Now, if you're an artist that ends up falling into the music industry, it's completely different because I can tell you that like that one marketing class that I had, they didn't really do much for me. Okay. But don't leave the team, guys.
That's okay. Wait.
It wasn't until I actually was live on full experiencing things things kind of shifted for me. Mm-hmm. But it's the music industry I'm talking about because you need these classes for some different things. I'm talking about the music industry, and then so the skills that I developed was basically what I told you. Mm-hmm. But for the music industry per se, but when I was gonna differentiate the artist, like if you're an artist, like if you sing and if you're a pianist or if you play the guitar, you want to go to Berkeley. You want to go to Frost School of Music. You know what I mean? Yeah. You want to do those types of careers because you might fall onto later on to being an A&R at a label because you might walk into that path in the music industry. But for me, it wasn't the case. So it depends. I'm not saying don't go to school. I'm just saying I don't think it really impacted me that much to be in the music industry, okay. Although everything you live in life takes you to where you're at. Yeah. So.
But I think it's really refreshing to hear you say I didn't know what was happening, I was trying to figure it out, because I think that many of us are figuring it out as we go. And I think that maybe even though these studies weren't directly what led you to music, being there taught you that wasn't your path. So that's why you found your path. So I think it's really cool to
Agreed.
Hear that from you.
100%.
Going into a little bit about the industry and everything, looking back at your early career, what initially drew you to the music business, and when did you realize you wanted to build long term? So you told us you realized law wasn't for you, business administration maybe. You were seeing what draw you to music afterwards.
Well, again, being super honest with you, because I'm gonna be super straightforward. Yeah. Just midlife crisis. I didn't even, not midlife, because I wasn't even at the age to say that it was a midlife crisis, but just feeling like that, like the work that I was doing didn't fulfill me, and then just like not being passionate about what I was doing, and I just wasn't sure what is it that I had to do, and then in like a lot of like prayer with God, because I believe in God, and one day randomly, like this is super true.
Okay.
I got my computer and I started applying for every internship in the world. Any internship that had to do with music, radio, or TV.
Okay.
That's what I did.
Okay.
Not really knowing what I was going to get. And that was like a December, and I didn't get called into Magnus Media, which is the company that I spent 7 years at, until 6 months after. So I still had to live the process of just like doing something that I didn't like, but at the same time, it was teaching me other things about my character, and I was growing in character while I was going through them, right? So I didn't leave the process, and I didn't say, okay, I don't want to do anything, and I'm gonna go, But yeah, did I answer that?
During those 6 months, did you think like, oh, they're not gonna respond at all?
Oh, hell yeah.
Right?
Yeah, hell yeah. You always think, no, olvídate, nobody's going to answer me.
Like,
Sí,
obvio. Oh,
yeah, hell
like,
yeah. Heck yeah. And especially because you guys are young, Yeah. But you have to keep trying. You have to be hungry, and you have to knock the doors, and that's what's going to get you far in life. So
I think that I asked you because I think that sometimes we're all in that like internship process of like applying, and you wait like 4 months, you get nothing, but maybe like the lesson is that time that we have to wait for that answer or anything is something that we still need to build in order to be ready for that internship. So
100%.
I love that you said that. Like you were getting ready, but that was for you.
Yeah.
A little bit later, pero bueno.
Porque lo que está para ti.
Ni aunque te lo quiten.
Ajá.
Bien. Okay, so you spent over 7 years in operation roles, artist management, and also as a product manager. Can you tell me a little bit about those roles, and what would you say were like the most important skills, the most important skills you developed during that time?
Okay, so then when I got the internship at Magnus, so Magnus is basically is owned by Marc Anthony, the salsa singer. And I started as an intern, and I did everything from coffee. I ran errands. There's like, they have this like wall of pictures of their artists in the lobby, and I walk in and I was like, I did that. So it was, but I didn't care because I wanted my foot in. So I was like, I'm in, I don't care, voy a hacer lo que sea, it doesn't matter. Yeah. So obviously that I don't know if it's a skill, but consistency and just fighting. And I didn't care that wherever, like, o sea, no creerse más que nadie because you're starting from scratch. No, it doesn't matter. Like, and I had spent like 5 years at a law firm. Bueno, since I was 18, I was still really, really young, I was still young, but yeah, consistency. And yeah, so then I started as an intern for 6 months, and then I was an executive assistant to the COO. So that was kind of like the operational background that you say there, because in operations, it just organization. I learned how the back end of Magnus they have a booking agency, management for artists, and a label. So then I learned the whole back end because I was the assistant to the COO, who is also Marc Anthony's manager. So at that time, yeah. So at that time, it worked out. And the skills that I learned there in operations was just like, Excel, numbers, organization, accounting, keep the upkeep of a company per se, the building, the cleaning, todo. And then from there, I jumped to 3 years as a project coordinator, and there it was more working like Marc Anthony stuff. So I worked. Bro, guys, I worked everything from Marc Anthony. Like his, some of the albums, all the albums from 2016 on. Yeah, 2016 on. So we released Opus in 2019, and then Payabo in 2022, and then Muévense in 2024, which I left Magnus in 2023, but I worked it all the year before. So then from project coordinator, I bumped up to product manager. And then in labels and music, product is the actual packaged song. So it's not only the creative of the song, but we call it a product when it's the ISRC number, the UPC number, which is the back end of the song, with the audio files in all its versions, in explicit versions. So the whole thing. So product manager was basically, I was in charge of the product, which is songs. Let's just call them songs, albums, whatever. And then I worked other releases for other artists, but always like my main one was Marc Anthony with his manager. What other fun things did I do there? No, a lot of things. We did a concert. We did a concert for Hurricane Maria that Mark did. I don't know if, bueno, it's just millennials. Raise your hand. I don't know. Bueno, yeah, we did like a whole. We did shows. I got to travel for his shows.
Cool.
Yeah, I went to, no sé, about 30 Marc Anthony shows.
Wow.
Which was super cool. But sometimes, bueno, también it wasn't until the pandemic that I noticed that when you do one thing too many times, you get used to it. And it wasn't until the pandemic that I was able to go to a show that I realized, oh my God, I work in music. I forgot how much I enjoy this. So, I mean, all that to say is that, live whatever season you're in and enjoy whatever you're doing, because mañana you don't know where you're going to be.
Exactly. So. That's true. Like, not take for granted the experience of having that moment.
Yeah.
I think that, like, I'm, like, thinking back, like, sometimes you're in a place that's very cool, even if it's for, like, an internship, a job, like a temporal job or anything. And then at some point, maybe, like, you take it for granted, but then you look back and you're like, my 15-year-old self or even my 10-year-old self, if she were to see me or he were to see me, like, where am I right now? Like, it's not, like, something small. Like, it's huge what you've built. So I think that's something that everybody lives like that. I don't want to call it imposter syndrome because I don't love that word, but it kind of is. Yeah. But I love that you talked about that. I'm going a little into networking because I think this is something kind of big in music. Let me know. I don't know. I don't work in the music industry. But if you were to think about one mistake that you see that young professionals make when networking, especially trying to break into the music industry, and I ask this because I think that that's something that everybody's going through in that phase of, like, learning how to network, and not only, like, in a superficial way, but, like, getting to know the person, like, why are they doing what they're doing, like, how have they gotten where they are. But what's, like, the biggest mistake that you see young professionals in the music industry?
But in networking? Or you're saying in general?
No, networking specifically, like, in the industry.
Okay.
Or networking in general.
Okay, so first of all, in the music industry, basically everything is networking. Like, you have to go out there. You have to go to the parties. You have to go to the shows. You have to go to the award shows. You have to show face. So it's 100% everything. I think that I would say if impatience.
Okay.
I think something would kind of fall there. Like, you can't be impatient. And obviously, since we're in a time right now where everything, you get your phone and you, me too. I open an email, and if it takes forever, I'm like, but why is it taking so long? So it's annoying. So instant gratification, like you said. So when you're networking or when you're not networking, o sea, when you're stressed at home, like, you tend to be impatient, especially the younger generation. Pero a todos nos cuesta. O sea, a todos nos costó. A mí me costó mucho. So you have to pay your dues and try to understand that you have to be patient. You're not going to stop being hungry. You're not going to stop, but you have to learn to be patient. And like we were saying before, it's just helping you grow. I think it's for, like, maybe networking also, you don't want to be that person that gets in somebody's face, like, horribly annoying, Yeah. But more make your way through connections, maybe like that.
Yeah. Would you say it's like something of, like, putting yourself in, like, their position? Because I'm thinking sometimes, I'm thinking about, like, my first ever networking event that I'm like, how am I going to talk to a random person and ask them for a job? So this is, like, very, like, on site, but I'm thinking, it's just thinking about that other person is also a person. Just like you. And in terms of, like, these different events and everything that you're saying, what was your experience like in your first ever event? Like you were there, how did you feel?
My first ever, oh my God.
I don't remember. Right now. Well, if you remember, like, se me ocurre ahorita, pero digo como.
I got in my first ever event. Let me try to go back.
how did you feel? Because I'm thinking I would be like scared to be like surrounded by so many like artists and like.
Bueno, es que I've always been very. I think something that if you want to work around artists and musicians and like in the music industry, you have to be like level-headed and you have to be. You can't get too excited. Maybe you get excited in the inside, but it's just really weird if you get excited in next to an artist and you're like, and you're like freaking out. so I think from the beginning, by the grace of God, I've always been like that. I don't know. I don't ask artists for selfies, por ejemplo.
Okay.
I just don't. Pero I don't know why.
Okay.
So no.
That's a big no. Then we can't take a selfie. Like.
No, I think it's fine. It just
Okay.
it just no, because if you're a fan, I think it's different. But I've never seen it as a fan in reality because it's my job and it's just a different mindset for me, and it was never. I admired them and I respect them, but it was never in a situation. Or no me pasó que that was in a situation. Yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Going into like we talked about your different roles, your different positions. What would you say you found to be the most transferable skill, the one that like constantly like opened doors for you?
Okay, definitely loyalty, which is underrated.
I agree.
But I think being loyal and sometimes in the music industry is really underrated because people are very shady.
Okay.
People are shady and they want to get places, and I'm guessing maybe it's in every industry. People are just like, people backstab people. But I'm very loyal, and I tend to just like, when I like structure and I like being in one place for a long time. No, so it's just me. Not sleeping and like moving on, no. Pero yeah, I think being loyal is very important. Skill per se. No, I think just that.
I think loyalty I hadn't heard before, and I think it's so true. Like that person that your boss trusts 100% out of the whole team.
And not only that, is that also lets you, well, for my role at this moment, the artist is in peace with me because I'm loyal. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Because he understands that I'm not gonna go backstab him or I'm not gonna steal his money. Porque so all the artists get their money stolen. Like it's hard.
Wow, I had never thought of that. That's super interesting. Going a little bit into the different organizations that you're involved in or like events. I know that you're actively involved in Women in Music and industry events like Latin Grammy. I saw your LinkedIn post. It was really cool. Latin Grammy Week, sorry. Why would you say community building is so important in this industry?
It's everything. It's everything because whoever you meet at Latin Grammys is the person that can open the door for you or for your artist next door. So it's everything. Like, you guys should always try to go to events and try to just be nice, be kind. Yeah. I think that's like the answer to everything in life. Just be kind and don't think that you're better than anyone else. And if you're in front of whoever, just be yourself and don't try to como frontear, you know, because I think because you know, I'm older, I guess. Older, not old. I'm older, and I think I can say with some type of authority that when, you know, sometimes when you're young, you try to be this person that you're not, and then you become and you put a facade, and it's just like whoever is meant to be in your life is going to be in your life. And whatever job or whatever career is meant to happen to you is going to happen, right? You just have to like kind of follow your intuition and listen to your heart and follow that through. But I think that's but I want to going back to community. It's super important. I mean, I try to go to as much as possible, as much as I can. Women in Music is really cool. It's just like an organization, a nonprofit organization worldwide that does events and they just support. They're an advocacy for women, and it's just cool. There, I think I go there to support us women, because at the end of the day, also women have it rougher than men in music. We always do. It's hard. We all do. It's harder for us. And yeah, I've gone to a couple of their events. They've had like songwriting sessions where I think the last one that I went to, Nati Natasha was there, and she performed, and they talk about just education, which is really cool. Latin Grammy is a crazy time.
Yeah.
It's crazy, it's hectic, it's fun, and especially if you're working with an artist, but it's beneficial, and all that is beneficial, and especially if you have artists walking or winning awards and all that. So attending everything as much as you can as possible is great. ¿Y cuál otro dijiste? You said one more, I think.
I said, LAMC.
LAMC. So LAMC is a yearly conference in New York by Thomas Cookman. Shout out to Thomas Cookman. And it's more of like an indie sort of conference, but it's where the industry just goes, and actual music industry just goes and learns, because they have conferences. Like if you're ever in New York, or if you want to go to New York, you should go. I think the conference is every year in July. It was actually the first conference that happened after the pandemic. So all of us in the music industry, after the pandemic, we went to like the first conference, and we were like, who is everybody? It was weird. So, but it's a really cool conference that has showcases at night, and then, but going to conferences is cool if you wanna like start in the music industry. I think that's a cool thing to do, because you get to meet people again. It's just meeting people. I think it's really important.
I feel like I keep saying I love that you said that, but I did love it that you said that, because I think that that's something that we talk about a lot here, like the fact that you show up. Well, here it's like events, workshops, stuff like that, but I feel like you're practicing that sense of like walking into a room and not knowing anyone, and being comfortable with like talking to people and getting to know new people, because you're preparing later on, either if it's in the music industry or in another industry, to like be able to go into an event and like be comfortable and be confident in your own skin. And as you said, being yourself. Like not trying to be
anyone else.
Else.
Somebody that you're not. And people, and the funny thing is that in music, and just like also meeting people, when you're trying to be somebody that you're not, people pick that up.
Se nota.
Like people pick. That's why when I work with artists and stuff like that, I was like, you have to stay in like who you are and write from your heart, and not try to copy any other artist, and not try to be like anybody else, because the minute you start doing that, you lose your core fans, because your core fans know you, right? And then you'd rather build up your core fans little by little by being who you are, because at the beginning, that's who started following you. So
I agree. So, yeah, that's true. So here in AMA, we always do like a little rapid fire question. So it's like super short questions, quick, like lo primero que se te venga a la mente, let me know. So the first one is, what is a song that represents your career journey?
Can you choose two or just one?
Let's do two.
Okay. This one was told to me by somebody else, a friend of mine, which is actually really cool. If you guys don't, this is some cool advice that I gave to somebody this week that asked me, if you don't know what you want to do with your life, ask around, like ask the people that care about you, like, what do you see me doing? You know, but the people that care about you, not some random like, or not the girl from like next class that you like what she wears, like no. Pero yeah, if you don't know what, like, ask around. So this person that has known me for all my years in the music industry told me that my song was Hustling by Rick Ross.
Oh, that's a good
So
one.
funny, because I do think I'm a hustler. Yeah. But not an exhausting hustling, like, oh my God, like, no, it's not like, oh my God, I don't sleep and I do coffee 24/7 and it's just like, oh, I'm a hustler. No, I look for opportunities and I find my way through issues and problems, and I don't give up, because you don't give up. And then as hard as it gets and as tired as you get, you keep on going and you keep steady and you're hungry and you keep walking. And that's what I think that she sees in me as a hustler, right? And then two, a Christian song, which is The Goodness of God, because I think I am where I'm at because of him, and I believe in him, and yeah, I really like that song. It just gives me a lot of peace.
I love that. I feel like it's your two main parts of
you.
Yeah,
like 100%.
Okay, next question. A room or event that felt surreal to walk into.
Okay. One time, y entonces ahí sí me dieron nervios when I saw Vin Diesel. Oh. Vin Diesel and Will Smith. Yeah.
Will Smith.
Yeah, they were like, so we were at Magnus at my old job. And you guys know around that time when Marc Anthony released that Está Rico.
Yes.
Está Rico with Bad Bunny and Will Smith. It was around that time that I don't even know what year it was, like 2018 or 1917. I don't even know what it was.
17.
But I went downstairs. I mean, Diesel was there, and I was like, hello.
Hi.
Pero yeah, I think that's it. I think him.
That's really cool.
Yeah, that's really cool.
Vin Diesel and Will Smith. Okay, last one. What is an underrated skill that changed your career trajectory?
Wow, I think I said it, sort of. Loyalty. But like a skill, more, a little bit bigger than
you
that.
said another one. It was like that you were like looking constantly for like an opportunity, like a...
Is this how when I'm not giving up? Is that a consistency?
That's the word.
Consistency, yeah.
That's the word that you said.
Because, oh my God, are you going to run into his shoes? And, oh my God, are you going to cry? Yes. And, oh my God, are you going to get in fights? Okay. Yes. Like, don't even think that, well, no, it's scary right now. I'm sure you guys go through that because even when you're young, you go through that stuff. You know what I mean? But as you get higher in positions, it just gets broader, the amount of pressure that you get in the position. So the more you have to fight those things. So the long nights, the arguments, the crying, but still staying consistent, Yeah. And if one door doesn't open, I sound like very a Latina mom. Si una puerta no se abre otra, o se abre la ventana, o se abre algo, pero se abre, right? Because it's something has to open. If, again, like what I said, I just think you have to follow your intuition, like ask the people around you, like, what do you see me doing? So you don't, I want to be a singer, but you can't even, like, So
be honest to yourself, I mean.
So I think that consistency.
I think, o sea, would you say like consistency, like discipline, because not everybody has that skill?
I think so. Yeah. I think the people that make it give up.
That's true.
Yeah. And I think you can't give up. You can't give up when I was scared. Also, if you end up giving up, it's not really what you were meant to be doing. You just have to find what is it that you were made to do and what's your purpose in the world. And your purpose is going to help you. And it's going to help you because you're helping others, right? So it's going to give you like that push to be consistent, right? So I think you have to find the root of you. And then like, what is it that makes you passionate in order to stay consistent? Because I was actually talking to somebody about it right now. What is it that you can do for free? That is the question that you have to ask yourself. And that's how you decide what you want to do with your life. Because if you ask me, music. Like, what is it that you would do for free? And then I wouldn't be a receptionist for free. O sea, como que there's it's not even a career. Like, I wouldn't be a photographer for free. Like, I think I have skills. I have a lot of skills, right? But I would do music for free.
I love that question. Como que that's true. Maria, before we close, what would be your final words or final advice to students here at FIU who are trying to build a meaningful and long-term career, either in competitive industries like music or any other?
Well, super cliche, but dream big. But I would say dream big, believe in yourself, and I think like the main thing that I've always said or I've said throughout the podcast is find yourself. True. You're not going to have all the answers already. No, nobody's going to have all the answers because I don't have all the answers. And whoever tells you that they have all the answers is a lie. Okay.
I agree.
So, but you go, you walk and you continue to have faith, and step by step, everything's going to open up. But truly, like, look into yourself and find what you want to do, and don't listen to other people. Or listen to them because, again, I had heard my mom, and I listened to my mom for a couple years, and she did it with a good intention, right? True. But it's not what I was meant to be doing. So listen to yourself, get to know yourself, give time for, like, turn off social media, try to find yourself and listen to who you are supposed to, and then what are you supposed to be doing? Ask the people around you that love you, and then ask yourself, what would you do for free?
I love that. That wraps up today's episode, Mic'd by FIU. Maria, thank you so much for sharing your journey and insights with us. And thank you all for listening and spending time with us. As you guys know, episodes drop every Tuesday on Spotify, now with Spotify, yes, and YouTube. So make sure you're subscribed and listen or watch wherever you're coming from. Stay up to date on future episodes, behind the scenes, and everything Mic'd. Follow us on Instagram, of course, at AMAFIU. If you enjoyed this conversation, don't forget to share it with your friend or someone that might find it helpful. I was your host today, Antonella Velasco, co-president of AMA, and we'll see you next time at Mic'd FIU.
Thank you.